Welcome back to Houston Life. On this final day of Heart Month, we're talking about how to stay heart healthy with cardiologist Ed Hickey, Dr. Ed Hickey. And we're also hearing the inspiring story of Houstonian Katherine Armstrong.
Yeah, because of groundbreaking advancements and research, Kat and her children can live a longer and healthier life, even with congenital heart disease. Please welcome Dr. Hickey and Kat to the show. It's great to see you both. Okay, so during the break, we were chatting about congenital heart issues, and this is something that is not necessarily genetic, right, Dr. Hickey?
That's absolutely right. It can be, and but probably about half of cases are actually not genetic at all. The heart develops very, very early in the womb, between about ages of 5 and 8 weeks of development, so extremely early. And it's one of the more complex organs to develop. So just any number of tiny little things can go wrong that then just lead to a congenital heart defect. So it's not always genetic, no.
So not always genetic, which is why we have, honestly, Katherine here, who has dealt with it in a couple of ways. Your baby, Holland, had the issue, and then you later discovered that you had too. Can you tell us that story?
Yes, so our oldest was born with it, and we didn't know until she was around 9 months. She just almost failure to thrive. And at 9 months, they told us that she had a 22-millimeter hole in her heart.
So
Wow.
And then we had our second 2 years later, and we were determined to get her checked out just because of Hudson. And then at about 19 months, I had a TIA, a mini stroke.
Wow.
And that's when my journey started.
Okay, and this must have been so alarming for you, Kat. And this was a few years ago, 2019. You woke up and what happened? You were having like blurry vision, brain fog?
Yeah, so my vision was very blurry. I felt just out of it. Like I didn't get enough sleep, or I've been up for days. And I told my husband, and he gave me some aspirin because I thought maybe I'm having a stroke or something. And we went to the ER and they just said I had anxiety. So that happened 3 times.
And it turns out it was not anxiety.
It was not anxiety, no.
Wow.
So,
What did
yes.
so when they told you you have congenital heart disease, I mean, that news must have hit you like a ton of bricks.
Well, yeah, it did, because I had no issues growing up. None at all. I played all the sports and grew just fine. And a doctor approached me at an ACHA event, and I told him kind of my symptoms and all that, and he got me in, I think maybe 10 days after I spoke to him. And my surgery was within the month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dr. Hickey, is she on an outlier of congenital heart disease, or what are you finding?
No, not at all. And in fact, Kat's story is really quite typical, and really why we want to raise awareness of this whole problem. For me, the types of patients we see tend to fall in 2 broad categories. Either children who were diagnosed very early on in life and therefore have grown up with congenital heart disease, and in many cases multiple interventions during that time, so they're growing up with it and transitioning into adulthood. And then there's a second category, just like Kat, who never thought there was anything wrong at all and had some minor, some symptoms that could be attributed to many different things, and actually it's because there was a hole in the heart. So they're new diagnoses, and they come like a bolt out of the blue and turn your life upside down. But thankfully, as you know, these are eminently treatable, so long as you're in the correct specialist centres, receiving the right care. Almost all congenital heart disease now can be ameliorated and lead to a long, healthy, and very productive life.
The fact that it's treatable, I think, is incredible, and we are all lucky that we live in Houston with some of the best medical care in the world. But Dr. Hickey, a lot of our viewers might be alarmed, thinking, okay, well, what if it is inside me and I don't know that I have this condition? Is there a test, or is there a way we can know that we have congenital heart disease?
Well, this is exactly why we want to raise awareness. And the event that we're here to talk about is the 1 in 100 walk, and that's because congenital heart disease affects, perhaps surprisingly, 1 in 100 people, so more than 2.5 million adults in Americans, both children and adults, have congenital heart disease. So it's a huge number.
That's shocking.
And this is one of the ways we're seeing you spread awareness. People are getting together, and you're really just teaching people ways they can live a heart-healthy lifestyle. What suggestions do you have for our viewers or anyone watching this?
Well, I love the fact that it's the walk for 1 in 100, because aside from just promoting awareness and fundraising too, it's also promoting the active lifestyle. And exercise comes in all forms. doesn't mean necessarily going to a gym. It can mean not using your car, and counting your steps is just as effective. And we as a specialty, many decades ago in a previous era, I think we went the wrong direction by almost refraining patients with heart conditions from doing exercise. We now know the exact opposite is true.
Wow.
And moderate aerobic activity in almost all circumstances is beneficial, even in complex cardiac situations.
As we've been seeing some of the images from the ACHA 1 in 100 walk, please mark your calendars, because April 27th, it's all happening again at Memorial Park Conservancy. That's the fundraising goal, $35,000 on your screen. It starts at 9 a.m. And Kat, for people like you who thought that you were doing this for your child,
Right.
and to have it come full circle and realize that you also have this condition, what's your message out there to people who are maybe saying, why should I get involved?
You should get it I feel like a lot of people know someone, and it's just not talked about enough, and listen to yourself. Like, if you don't feel very well, go get yourself checked out. You could have the same problem, and then you'll come and you'll meet people, just like us. So it's fantastic.
Yeah, that's
Very
a
important.
win-win. Yeah.
I'm glad you're doing well, Kat.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, you and the girls. They're so cute.
Very nice. Kat Armstrong, Dr. Ed Hickey, thanks so much for stopping by.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right, we'll see you at the walk April 27th. And in the meantime, we will share all the information on our website, HoustonLife.tv. Once again, it's the ACHA Walk for 1 in 100. Again, those stats are pretty shocking.
Absolutely.